Madhav Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Golabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Ashodanandana Brajajana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Jabihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Radha Madhava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jayo Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jayo Radha Madhav. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Gaur Sitanath Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa, Parivrajakcharya, Shtota His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki Jai, Grantha Srimad Bhagvatam ki Jai. Here is the shloka. Thank you. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagvatam. Ready for the Bhagavatam class? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sure cure for insomnia. Chapter 5, text 11? Canto 1, chapter 5, text 11. Very important shloka, the basis of ISKCON. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiret Nashta Prayeshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Tadvag Visargo Janatag Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhaddhavati Api Namani Anantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrunvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhaddhavati Api Namani Anantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrunvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhaddhavati Api Namani Anantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrunvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha Can you want to try it? Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhaddhavati Api Namanantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrunvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhaddhavati Api Namani Anantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrunvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhaddhavati Api Namanantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrunvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha. Vaishnavis. Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhaddhavati Api Namani Anantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrunvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha Tad that Vak vocabulary Visarga creation Janata the people in general Agha sins Viplavaha revolutionary Yasmin in which Pratishlokam each and every stanza Abhaddhavati irregularly composed Api in spite of Namani transcendental names etc. Anantasya of the unlimited Lord Yashaha glories Ankitani depicted Yat what Shrunvanti do hear Gayanti do sing Grinanti do accept Sadavaha the purified men who are honest. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhayacharya and the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation. full of transcendental words directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Purport: it is a qualification of the great thinkers to pick up the best even from the worst. It is said that the intelligent man should pick up nectar from a stalk of poison, should accept gold even from a filthy place, should accept a good and qualified wife even from an obscure family, and should accept a good lesson even from a man or from a teacher who comes from the untouchables. These are some of the ethical instructions for everyone in every place without exception. But a saint is far above the level of an ordinary man. He is always absorbed in glorifying the Supreme Lord, because by broadcasting the holy name and the fame of the Supreme Lord, the polluted atmosphere of the world will change. And as a result of propagating the transcendental literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, people will become sane in their transactions. While preparing this commentation on this particular stanza of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have a crisis before us. Our neighboring friend China has attacked the border of India with a militaristic spirit. We have practically no business in the political field, yet we see that previously there were both China and India, and they both lived peacefully for centuries without ill feeling. The reason is that they lived those days in an atmosphere of God consciousness, and every country over the surface of the world was God-fearing, pure-hearted and simple. And there was no question of political diplomacy. There is no cause of quarrel between the two countries, China and India, over land which is not very suitable for habitation. And certainly there is no cause for fighting on this issue. But due to the age of quarrel, Kali, which we have discussed, there is always a chance of quarrel on slight provocation. This is due not to the issue in question, but to the polluted atmosphere of this age. Systematically, there is propaganda by a section of people to stop glorification of the name and fame of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, there is a great need for disseminating the message of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world. It is a duty of every responsible Indian to broadcast the transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the world, to do all the supermost good as well as to bring about the desired peace in the world. Because India has failed in her duty by neglecting this responsible work, there is so much quarrel and trouble all over the world. We are confident that if the transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam is received only by the leading men of the world, certainly there will be a change of heart, and naturally the people in general will follow them. The mass of people in general are tools in the hands of the modern politicians and leaders of the people. If there is a change of heart of the leaders only, certainly there will be a radical change in the atmosphere of the world. We know that our honest attempt to present this great literature, conveying transcendental messages for reviving the God consciousness of the people in general and re-spiritualizing the world atmosphere, is fraught with many difficulties. Our presenting this matter in adequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail. And there will be so many literary discrepancies, despite our honest attempt to present it in the proper way. But we are sure that with all our faults in this connection, the seriousness of the subject matter will be taken into consideration, and the leaders of society will still accept this due to its being an honest attempt to glorify the Almighty God. When there is fire in a house, the inmates of the house go out to get help from the neighbors, who may be foreigners, and yet without knowing the language, the victims of the fire express themselves, and the neighbors understand the need. Even though not expressed in the same language, the same spirit of cooperation is needed to broadcast this transcendental message of the Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the polluted atmosphere of the world. After all, it is a technical science of spiritual values, and thus we are concerned with the techniques and not with the language. If the techniques of this great literature are understood by the people of the world, there will be success. When there are too many materialistic activities by the people in general all over the world, there is no wonder that a person or a nation attacks another person or nation on slight provocation. That is the rule of this age of Kali, or quarrel. The atmosphere is already polluted with corruption of all description, and everyone knows it well. There are so many unwanted literatures full of materialistic ideas of sense gratification. In many countries, there are bodies appointed by the state to detect and censor obscene literature. This means that neither the government nor the responsible leaders of the public want such literature. Yet it is in the marketplace because the people want it for sense gratification. The people, in general, want to read, that is a natural instinct. But because their minds are polluted, they want such literatures under the circumstances. Transcendental literature like Srimad Bhagvatam will not only diminish the activities of the corrupt mind of the people in general, but also it will supply food for their hankering after reading some interesting literature. In the beginning, they may not like it because one suffering from jaundice is reluctant to take sugar candy. But we should know that sugar candy is the only remedy for jaundice. Similarly, let there be systematic propaganda for popularizing reading of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, which will act like sugar candy for the jaundice-like condition of sense gratification. When men have a taste for this literature, the other literatures which are catering poison to society will then automatically cease. We are sure, therefore, that everyone in human society will welcome Srimad Bhagavatam, even though it is now presented with so many faults. For it is recommended by Sri Narada, who has very kindly appeared in this chapter. Thus then the Bhaktivedanta purports to the chapter 5, canto 1, text 11, in the matter of instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. That is Narada Muni's instructions. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmiritamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvasesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmanataya Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Premapadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauradate Namaha Vanchakalpatarvasya Kripa Sindhubhyo Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Swasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this shloka is a continuation of previous one, because it starts with on the other hand. That means something is already there in the another hand, right? That's why the other hand. So what is that other hand talking about? Actually, this is the instruction of Srila Narada Muni to Vyasadeva before compelling the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam was already available, it was already there, but Narada Muni told Vyasadeva to re-edit it, right? So this is the edited version what we have. The original Srimad Bhagavatam, equivocal instructions were there, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. But when Narada Muni told Vyasadeva to actually re-edit it, Bhagavan's personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead's position was actually established. So I will read the translation of the previous verse. It's very interesting. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. All our Facebook, newspapers, right, YouTube shorts, all of them are like pilgrimage for crows, because they don't glorify the Supreme Lord. But the saintly persons or the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. We somehow derive some pleasure, some of them at least. They keep seeing the YouTube shorts or Facebook and things like that. So even newspaper for that matter. So this is actually a very interesting shloka, because Prabhupada actually puts this shloka in every canto, because Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about the glories. Today is actually appearance of Srila, not Srila, the Supreme Lord Varahadev, right? So Varahadev's appearance actually is a very interesting pastime. We will not touch upon that today. But we will try to actually, because the topic that was given was, Vipin Prabhu told me, please cover the glories of Srila Prabhupada. I was just thinking, see, when you actually glorify somebody, you have to be an equal or better than that person. Right? Neither anywhere close to that. It's just like you have done so much of nice work. One small kid comes on the road and tells, "Oh Prabhu, so wonderful you have done, so many nice activities you have done. I am very happy that you have done." How does it appear to you? Some say LKG student comes and tells you. Does it make sense? Then you will say, "Okay, you'll just touch it, thank you, go," and then go away. Right? Then how do we glorify Prabhupada? There's no way we can, because Prabhupada is, the word Prabhupada really means those, one of the meanings is that whose feet many Prabhus sit. I mean, all our spiritual masters, they are sitting in Prabhupada. They are able to glorify Prabhupada to some extent. Where are we? Definitely I am not qualified. But still, we should glorify. Prabhupada actually said, by glorifying the spiritual master and the acharyas, previous acharyas, we get purified. Right? It's like, Prabhupada gives a lot of examples, like the dwarf trying to reach a moon, it's not possible, but still it should do. I'm going to actually touch upon some portion of this, but then get into Harishori Prabhu's Transcendental Diary, right? We're going to pick up some portions and we'll read it. I'll explain. Amazing things you'll learn, because Prabhupada was highly practical, and the books represent the acharyas, but Prabhupada will actually modify a little bit here and there. Since he is an acharya, he could do that. We'll hear from that part also. What is he trying to communicate? So this is actually the basis of our ISKCON revolution, right? Prabhupada would actually tell devotees when they actually, in those days when they actually used to sing Namaste Narsimaya, Tulsi Arti, they would actually glorify Prabhupada after that. Because they had no clue about who Nrsimhadev is. Not the way we think Nrsimhadev is. They would not know who Tulsi Maharani is. Did anybody know this Tulsi Maharani prayers before coming to ISKCON? We all learned from him. So we always acknowledge him. Thank you for giving me this relationship with Tulsi Maharani. Thank you for actually introducing me Nrsimhadev to me. So that's why they actually sing Prabhupada at the end of the shloka, when they actually sing. We'll be wondering, like, what does Tulsi Maharani got to do with Prabhupada? But we don't know anything. He only knows about Tulsi Maharani. But that's how it is. That's why in those days, you will find that in the Transcendental Diary, Prabhupada would tell them, it's okay, you can actually sing end my names. So anyway, so this particular shloka it's a revolution, right? This was written 5,000 years back. Right? Vasudev actually compiled this 5,000 years back, and till this point in time, at least in the last 50 years when Prabhupada came, there was no revolution. Nothing like that, right? So it's a very different kind of feeling. Because see, revolution means someone puts a very weird, wild idea, which no one can think of, right? And then make people follow it. That's called revolution. Revolution means something nobody can even think such a thing can happen, first of all. Does it make sense? And then make everybody follow it. That's really revolution. Prabhupada did that, because it's mentioned here in the shloka, right? This particular shloka says that there will be revolution. If the Srimad Bhagvatam is read, who will actually be appreciating it? Those who are thoroughly honest. Purified men who are honest, they will appreciate it. But those who are sadhaka bhaktas, very difficult to actually appreciate everything, because when you open Bhagavatam, you get sleep. Unless until you hear from somebody who knows the subject matter. If you hear from our spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada, then that actually opens up our idea of what Srimad Bhagavatam is. It's just like if you go to a kitchen and you actually have vegetables and everything, all ingredients. Normally, simple people will go and make khichdi, right? That's all it is. But if you allow some expert Matajis or some very good cooks, they will use the same ingredients and make chapan bhog. They can make it. So someone who knows Bhagavatam thoroughly, they can actually speak in such a way that the nectar will come out. But someone who doesn't know what it is, even if you read it also, you will feel there is some new information I have never heard. Right? That is actually the advantage of this. And no one actually had done a revolution till Prabhupada came, although the message was there by Vasudeva. So that can tell us that that Prabhupada was the person indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam that he will come and do this revolution across the world. Because there are so many interesting points in this particular verse, and during the morning walks, devotees would, Prabhupada would actually ask them. One devotee actually asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, is morning time not good for chanting? He said, yes. Then why are we actually discussing all these things? They were very scared. Prabhupada said basically because it's just not chanting. You need to understand the message of the parampara. And I don't get to spend time with all of you. You all go for Sankirtan. So I'm spending time with you to educate you all on this transcendental informations. So they would actually question Prabhupada. They will continue chanting Hare Krishna. You will find them going chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What Dr. Patel, Prabhupada would actually make them ask, and then all of them will be walking and Prabhupada would actually question them something. Sometimes somebody will take the position of a Mayavadi, right? And then Prabhupada would actually refute them. Or Prabhupada himself will actually take a position and they will all struggle hard to defeat him because he had this understanding of impersonalism thoroughly. Devotees were not so thorough in the understanding. Prabhupada would challenge them. Just chanting alone is not sufficient for those who are intellectuals. Why am I writing all these books? Because you need to understand. For someone who is not intelligent, who is a neophyte, or for that matter, someone is illiterate, for them chanting alone can deliver. But those who have intelligence, they have to accept it. Now, Jai Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai Sudarshan ki Jai, Shri Gauranga Bangalore ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. It's also mentioned if the verse is imperfectly composed, still it will be worshipped by those who are thoroughly honest. Prabhupada's early books, Prabhupada actually had written, he has mentioned that China and India are in kind of a war situation. Prabhupada actually wrote this purports in 59-62, that time, India-China war. The Sino war actually was brewing, and Prabhupada writes like that. Many centuries we have lived together. There was no indication of any problems, right? But what has happened because of their progress in Kali Yuga, that they want to get into war. Prabhupada mentions this, and in one of the conversations that Harishar Guru has with Prabhupada, he tells that Prabhupada, nobody actually had composed Bhagavatam like this, the translation at least. Your earlier translation, Prabhupada would actually make it in different ways. The difference between what am I and what I am. What's the difference? If somebody asks you, yeah.
What I am is what we are. And what we are is what actually we are.
Now I'm asking about what I am and what am I. Both of them mean the same. Okay? Prabhupada would use the ulta actually. You're supposed to use what am I. That's the right way of the subject and predicate. But Prabhupada in his writing would use what I am. Right? You would actually, the entire translation purport of first canto was like that, earlier ones. The pre-72 ones. And devotees when they read this English seems to be very different. Although Prabhupada actually studied in a Scottish college, which was supposed to be one of the best institutes in India at that time for teaching English, Prabhupada's English was different. So that indicates that Prabhupada is a revolutionary leader. And this gives us a hope that whatever is mentioned in the Shastras is indicating Prabhupada, and we are followers of Prabhupada. So when somebody is engaged in Sankirtan activities, you can understand that this is mentioned in the Shastras and what we are doing is bona fide. It gives us hope. Yes, this is definitely a good thing that we are doing. And Prabhupada would actually acknowledge them. Because many devotees would come and tell, some outsiders would come and tell. When Prabhupada was told by devotees that Prabhupada, you are so great, Prabhupada would not do anything. If outsider somebody comes and tells Prabhupada, Prabhupada would say thank you. Right? One time, one devotee was there. I don't want to take the names and all because they are still there now. Very nice devotees. Those days, he would actually right after Mangalarati, Prabhupada would go for morning walk and come back by darshan for greeting the deities. He would actually stand on the pathway. He would throw some flowers, and he would actually sing Samsara Dava like that, and something. You are a great personality and things like that. He would actually say the samsara prayers, but he would give his own appreciation of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada would see and say. One time actually when he looked at the devotee, he said, everywhere there is so much of dirt. You can't see all this dirt. Why don't you go in and do some cleaning instead of just praising me? Prabhupada was very clear about it. Prabhupada said, by cleaning this temple and the surroundings, your heart gets cleaned. Right? He would actually give, because devotees were finding it very difficult because Prabhupada had this way of understanding, his thought process was very different, and he was situated in such a high level of Krishna consciousness. The early devotees, that is, those who came into Krishna consciousness, found it very difficult. Is it really possible to be like him? They were thinking, and they were asking Prabhupada, whatever you quote from Shastras, we are not able to quote, right? Is it possible that we can achieve your state, Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, he would not say anything more than that. And then in the rooms, they would ask Prabhupada, when will we get this kind of memory that you are having? Right? I mean, your understanding is so perfect. You know exactly what to do when we are not able to do that way. Is it possible? Yes, by practice. And then he would not say anything. Right? Prabhupada would actually, would definitely actually encourage the devotees. But when Prabhupada was asked, when will we become like you, he would not actually answer. When they would ask that, Prabhupada, when will we become pure devotees, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagvatam, Prabhupada would say, you are already one. Just continue this. Right? But any point in time, they would ask Prabhupada that, when will we become like you, Prabhupada? It's not anything. He would not say anything because we know that he is actually the Sakti-Avesh avatar. Right? He is not an ordinary person. He is actually empowered incarnation. In the Chaitanya Bhagavata, it's mentioned that Srila Prabhupada is actually a Senapati Bhakta. Right? Lord Chaitanya's Sena, Sankirtan army, and this devotee actually, Srila Prabhupada is actually the Senapati Bhakta, meaning commander-in-chief. So he tells army how to go and attack Maya Devi. A very powerful position. But anyways, that has never happened so much. And by analyzing this shloka, we can understand that this revolution is happening now, the last 50 years or so. It's so powerful that we are thinking that is really, but then from a demigod's perspective, from other dvipas perspective, they are watching all these things and saying, wow, amazing, because Bharatavarsha, so-called, at least in Kali Yuga, is the worst ever possible in the creation. Hellish planets, at least they are known to be horrible people. But in the Bharatavarsha, especially those human beings are fortunate that given an opportunity to go back to Godhead, but no one is taking it. So when they see that somebody is actually taking Krishna consciousness, they become very happy. Now, Prabhupada actually came and then created the revolution. What revolution did he do? Normally, there is something called Bhoga Dharma or Tyaga Dharma. These are two things, that is Dharma, Artha, Kama, right? So these are called Bhoga Dharma. That means it's all for my enjoyment. The world is for my enjoyment. How many of you feel that the world is for enjoyment? Nobody feels? Okay, some of you feel. Huh? Yeah, YouTube is there. See, we say that the world is not for enjoyment, but we still do the same thing, right? Food you see, is it my liking? Is it same old khichdi they are giving? So, right? So we always think about that. That's called Bhoga Dharma. And those who are jnanis, who are really detached, very, very clear about what they want to like, they said this world is not ours. Right? That's called Tyaga Dharma. Right? No moksha. I don't want anything, I'll go back to Brahman. So that I don't want anything. Prabhupada defeated both of them. Bhoga Dharma also is false, Tyaga Dharma also is false. World is not mine, wrong. Huh? World is mine then, wrong. Then what is it? World is for Krishna and all of us must, it's not an option, must serve the Supreme Lord. This world is meant for serving Supreme Lord. This is a revolution he created. This way of thinking is unheard of. There are many Hindu temples who worship Krishna, but they don't have the philosophy trained because they think there's another person, okay, God will actually take care of my needs. That Prabhupada repeated saying that this is not what God is meant for. God has created all these things to us to serve Him. Use all the facilities to serve Him. This is the right understanding. That's why actually Prabhupada said don't become complacent. That philosophy is okay, at least they are all coming to temple and things like that. No, tell them that the other Hindu temples and we are not the same. We are different. Because we are telling Krishna the supreme person of Godhead and we must serve Him. Nobody else is preaching. So that is why he wanted preaching has to happen all the time. If preaching is not happening, we will become another Hindu temple sometime. And you put in caste, ISKCONite. That's what Prabhupada told. The Sri Vaishnavas, Ramanacharya was such a great Acharya. Today you say they put Sri Vaishnava as a caste. No, they are not following the same level of seriousness like Sripad Ramanacharya gave. Of course, there are some wonderful devotees who are really doing good. Prabhupada did not want us to be like that. And Prabhupada would actually ask devotees to do something big. And whenever somebody came and reported, Prabhupada, I distributed 100 Bhagavad Gitas today. Prabhupada would say, very nice, very nice. And somebody, in order to do that, everybody thought like, see, imagine the spiritual master is there and they know that, and Prabhupada told very simple way to actually progress in Krishna consciousness, Yasya prasadad Bhagavad prasada, Yasya prasadad nagati kutopi. Easiest way to progress in Krishna consciousness is to please the spiritual master. So they thought, okay, if Prabhupada has to smile, that means I need to do something big. Right? They would come and say, Prabhupada, I want to do a Pandal program. Right? I'll call you, we'll actually invite everybody in this place, and 2,000, 3,000 those days. 2,000, 3,000 is a big number. So they'll all come. Right? And somebody would say, Prabhupada, I want to actually chant 100 rounds a day. Many things they would come and say. And Prabhupada say, you would not say anything first. And when they used to tell, Prabhupada actually became angry. Somebody said like, I'm going to make a restaurant wherein I will feed the whole village and things like that. Prabhupada became angry in that. And he actually quoted a Bengali poem. Okay, I don't know exactly the pronunciation, Baro Baro Bandale, something like that, basically monkey. And Prabhupada actually had a translation for that. And he would laugh, right? He would say, big, big monkey, big, big belly, Ceylon jumping melancholy. Prabhupada said this like, and all of them laughed. They didn't know what the meaning is, right? Big, big monkey, big, big belly. This is from Ramayana actually taken, because in Ramayana what happens? All the monkeys assemble at the end of the seashore and supposed to jump. All of them said, I will jump like this, I will go and get Mother Sita and things like that. But only Hanuman did it. Nobody else could. But they all actually boasted. And Prabhupada will say, only belly is big. You people can eat nicely and sleep. You can't do anything more than that. Of course, he was politely encouraging them. Right? Sometimes people would come and say, I find it very difficult to actually stay with the Indians. Right? And Prabhupada would say, okay, then what is big deal? Why do you call yourself a foreigner? I mean, in India, anything foreign means top class. That was understanding. Prabhupada said, you are foreigner. Right? What is so top class about you? If you are really a top class fellow, then cooperate with the Indians and stay here, let me see. He would challenge them. Right? Completely different paradigm, way of thinking is very different. You would go and say, okay, don't worry, I will give you a different place. I will no, same for me. For everybody same, foreigner, Indian, everyone. Because one time Brahmana Maharaj actually went and told Prabhupada, they were preaching in Africa. And he said like this, Negroes is very difficult to actually preach to them. They can only eat and then steal and go away. Right? They will give prasadam to everyone. They will go to get prasadam along with the plate. They will go away. Right? And they would actually find it very difficult to take care. And they went and complained to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, this Negroes are very difficult to preach. And Prabhupada looked at him and said, oh, you are also a white Negro. You are also a white Negro, and said like, I don't see anything different. You are also actually doing that only. See, from their perspective, pure devotees' perspective, all of us actually are more or less like Negroes only. Very fallen people we are. They are tolerating us so much. So much they are tolerating. Otherwise it's not. See, the Lord tolerates us. But pure devotees tolerates and comes into this material world just to actually facilitate us to go back. Otherwise, they have nothing to do here. See, they are happy there in the spiritual world. All pastimes happening there. Why should they come here? That is the reason we should not stop glorifying Prabhupada and the spiritual masters. They are our heroes. They came just for us. Otherwise, absolutely there is nothing in this world. Prabhupada would actually give example about this world is a stool house, place where people pass stool. Very heavy words. This is revolutionary thought. Right? It's not a common. You would call people as rascals, which we don't do these days. Those days Prabhupada would call a rascal, said, simply rascal. You all know that simply rascal, no? Very interesting. Those days they actually had a code name. Code name means if anybody was actually not following Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada would call them simply rascal. That's all it is. Because they will come and say, I am a nice person and things like that. Prabhupada will call simply rascal. So they kept that slang as SR man, simply rascal man. Then when they are discussing, say, Prabhupada, actually the registrar for the land is going to come. Did you all meet him? Yes, we met him, he's just a SR man. Prabhupada said, okay. And they would all laugh actually. So they had this kind of a attraction with Prabhupada that if Prabhupada was happy, they would do anything for him. Not see whether it's mentioned in Bhagvatam or Bhagavad Gita, because they had no clue about what it is. Right? First of all, it was not written. Yeah. So we should actually get that. Here a very important aspect you see in the last line of this purport. Right? Prabhupada mentioned one thing. Very kindly Srila Narada Muni has appeared here. Saw that? This is a sign of advancement. Of course, it's just an indication. Pure devotees have extraordinary affection for the acharyas. All the priests. So we should also cultivate that. We should cultivate that affection for Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual masters, and the previous acharyas. When you do that, when you actually show affection towards them, you will start getting love. Same like Krishna. But reaching Krishna is not easy. But we can always show affection for Prabhupada. You can understand like, what have they done for us? So much they have done. So show affection. If we offer something. When it came to Krishna consciousness, the devotee used to tell me, you are coming from outside. Did you bring anything for Krishna or Prabhupada? So I wonder, okay, I am supposed to bring. So my brother would actually get a bag of apple, at least one sack of apples, some 10 apples, something, every time he came. Then I asked, like, I am here only most of the time. Then you give yourself to Krishna. What does that mean? Basically, like, he would say, like, you be part of the community. I mean, you be a brahmachari. Then you give your heart to Krishna, then you don't have to give anything. If you are giving your heart to anything, you don't have anything else to give, right? Like that. But that's how we are coming to see a very great personality. You should bring something. Prabhupada would actually tell people how to actually develop love. Love means you have to give something, not just take. If you are taking prasadam, give something in return. Do some seva or some donation, whatever it is. But it should not be that, what can I take from Krishna? Prabhupada would challenge the devotees so much. Don't see what you can get from ISKCON. See what you can give to ISKCON. That is what is a yardstick. Some devotees would come and say, Prabhupada, I am actually initiated for 4 years, finding it very difficult to chant Hare Krishna. I said, that's okay. What have you done for ISKCON? What are you doing for Krishna? You would ask, said, Prabhupada, you tell me what I should do. You would say, go engage in this service, go and cook. Something you would say. So by doing that, Prabhupada accepts us. So if you feel very low, just do some seva for Prabhupada when you come here, right? And immediately Prabhupada accepts and you get the normal blessings to continue chanting. When your chanting is very low, that means you are not doing seva properly. Prabhupada would give these examples. Prabhupada asks, what seva are you doing? If you are doing some seva, then your chanting will be fine. And they would actually chant, Jayananda Prabhu especially would chant the corner and then sleep. Sometimes he's very tired because he worked very hard. Prabhupada said that kind of chanting Krishna likes. Phenomenal difference from where we thinking today. Because he served his heart with so much of focus to please Prabhupada, then that kind of chanting, so-called inattentive, Prabhupada will correct it. This was the mindset that was there those days. That's why they progressed a lot. They progressed very fast. Of course, if they had continued reading Prabhupada books, they would all stick on. That's very important because Prabhupada wanted us to read Prabhupada books thoroughly. But the point I'm trying to convey is, serving Prabhupada, vision of Prabhupada is very, very important. We should actually ingrain that in our mind. Yes, I want to do something for Prabhupada. then the inattentive chanting, all. Prabhupada said, don't worry, it will all change. It takes some time, sometimes one lifetime. Because see, understand, when can we chant purely? Only when Krishna empowers. And when will Krishna empower? When the Gurus are pleased. And when will Guru get pleased? When you do what they are asking you to do. Right? We have understood everything, we want to do what we want to do, until I'm not able to chant, I'm not getting Krishna Prema. Right? Wait. The Prayojana will take time. But that was the mindset. Right? Because Prabhupada's touch, it's like we go and take bath in Ganga. Many of them actually are going for this Prayag and things like that. It's nice. Prabhupada would actually go there just to actually give association. Right? Because Prabhupada's mindset was, Harishwari Prabhu actually asked Prabhupada, why are we going there? Because our focus is to chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada said, I have to go because that place is going to be fully contaminated. Ganga will get contaminated because so many people are coming there to deposit their sinful activities, reactions. So, who will assist Ganga Devi? Pure devotees of the Lord. So, Prabhupada said, yes, we all have to go. Please come. See the mindset of Prabhupada. That's why pure devotees go there. To give association, talk about Bhagavatam. Because the holy name is so powerful, if somebody chants the holy name, they get purified. Taking dip in Ganga will take many, many lifetimes. Because the way of Ganga purifying is touch of a pure devotee, aura cleaning. It will take time because you are committing so many sinful activities. How will you get purified so easily? Not possible. Whereas when your heart transforms and you willingly try to avoid sinful activities, that will be much, much faster. That's why the Acharyas say that hearing Bhagavatam, associating and serving a pure devotee of the Lord, that's much, much faster. Very fast it is. Right? You can see the difference of mindset Prabhupada. Prabhupada is not going to actually take a dip there. That's why he didn't go. He would say in 1971 also he was there, 1977 I think also was there. But he would not get into the water. They would actually get him a little bit, he would just put on a head. That's all. But his presence would purify the place. They would distribute prasadam, do harinam multiple times a day. Every 2 hours break, continue. Mindset is so different, right? So, I am going to get into Harishwari Prabhu's book. Okay, but before that, Prabhupada actually gave a very, because Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, you heard about him, right? The Bhaktivedanta Institute. Prabhupada would actually talk to him in a very scientific language, right? Because he was a PhD and he would ask questions very about the soul's dimensions and things like that. And he would say, soul's dimension is Anu, right? 1/10,000 tip of the hair, right? You take the hair, cut the tip, and 1,000 pieces or 100 pieces you cut, again 100 pieces you cut, that one thing is soul size. So Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, can we measure it? He said, if you can actually measure that much, you can measure it, he said. So he actually came and said it's about 100 angstroms, something like that. 100 into 10 to the power of minus 9 something. That much small. It's very small. Prabhupada said, yes, you can measure if you can. Then they all started asking him, isn't it actually spirit is different? He said, that's a dimension when it comes into the material world. You can, if you can see in the heart region, see it. If you take that much small, there's no microscope or electron microscope to measure that. But Prabhupada said, if you can measure it, definitely you can do it. Then Prabhupada actually said a very interesting thing. He said, your environment of living depends on your consciousness. It's not based on the material that you're looking around. For example, the same material, same deities, same everything, same temple. For a pure devotee, he looks, this is actually Goloka itself, because he is in that thought. For us, we come and see, okay, where is Prasadam? What books is there? Right? So we see all these different things, because our consciousness is different. So, Prabhupada would say, and they would talk in equations, like the environment that you live is a function of consciousness. He would say that, can you explain that to the scientific people, right? And there are many other factors, he said. Prabhupada said, there will be some factors which is actually hidden right now. You have to attempt it. How many of you actually have tried this, something called escape room? Anybody here knows what escape room is? No? Some of you? Okay, super. So, long back, about 20 years back, I used to play this escape room software. I used to solve puzzles before coming to Krishna consciousness. So, there, when you actually go and keep trying again and again, after 10, 12 times, you will find a key in the same place. You would have searched, but you won't be there. But after 10 times you go and search the same place, you will find the key to open the door. So I said, okay, Prabhupada would actually give examples like that, that some of the factors that are affecting our going back to God are time bound. You have to try it again and again for many times. Then when it gets activated, you will be able to make progress. Same shloka you would have read many times, you would have heard. After 10 years, it's like, oh, this is the meaning of that. Wow, I didn't know this is the meaning. You will read it again and again, then you get the meaning. But first time you read it, same word, same thing, but you will not get it because it's revealed scripture. Prabhupada will reveal it, Krishna will reveal it when time comes. Otherwise it's not possible. Anyways, I am going to get into the Adishwari Prabhu's book. Very interesting this. This is exactly about 49 years ago. Okay. Today is Dwadashi, Varaha Dwadashi. So this is actually the Ekadashi, that is yesterday's 1976. Adishwari Prabhu was the personal servant for about nearly 2 years, 1975 end November till 77 end. Very interesting. I'm going to read it. Okay. The observance of Ekadashi today is coupled with a half-day fast for Lord Varahadeva's appearance, which is yesterday. Although the Lord's appearance is actually tomorrow. He's telling. As Prabhupada took his morning walk, he had Jayapatak Maharaj confirm the observance procedure by reading out from the Gaudiya Panjika, a yearly Vaishnava almanac the Gaudiya Mata produces. All over the world, they used the Gaudiya Panjika those days. Only after Prabhupada left in 1983, devotees actually understood that, oh, this is actually not this. See, the break time and all is Mayapur time they had. They had no clue that across the world there will be different Ekadashi times. But they followed that same calendar. Right? But then later on they realized, oh, this is not the right thing to do. I need to find out the local time and do it. Since the auspicious appearance of Lord Varaha falls on Dwadashi, which is the day for breaking the Ekadashi fast, the two are combined. How to break fast? Because fasting till noon is required, and also have to. So they read it and then found out you can break fast on Dwadashi day, fast on Ekadashi day. Prabhupada said that it would suffice to celebrate Lord Varahadeva's appearance by singing the appropriate verse describing him from the song of the 10 avatars. That's all it is. What is that? You know what is that? From let's read that. Okay, I'm just going to read this. You can repeat after me. Vasati dasana shikare dharani tava lagna. Who knows this meter? You know it. Say that again. Vasati dasana shikare dharani tava lagna. Shikare dharani tava lagna. Sasini kalanka kaleva nimagna. Sasini kalanka kaleva nimagna. Keshavadrita sukara rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Nita Sukara Rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of a boar, all glories to you. The earth, which had become immersed in the Garbhodaka ocean at the bottom of the universe, sits fixed upon the tip of your tusk like a spot upon the moon. Prabhupada just said this. So Prabhupada told Adishwari Prabhu, if you simply follow this instruction, you are following the orders of Spiritual Master. Simple. That's all it is. You don't have to invent anything new. He is given what has to be done. Just so those days we didn't have any. This is 1976. Almost the fag end of Prabhupada's personal presence in the planet. This was the way they worshipped all the different incarnations. Prabhupada actually continues. Srila Prabhupada also verbally listed the proper fasting periods to observe for other auspicious days. Lord Nityananda's, Sri Advaita's, Lord Balarama's and Srimati Radharani's appearances are all half-day fasts. Lord Narsimdeva and Lord Ramachandra's appearance days are all full-day fast until sunset. while Gaur Purnima and Janmashtami is a fast until moonrise. Janmashtami is full night, till night, midnight. Tamal Krishna Maharaj inquired about observing the appearance and disappearance days of great Vaishnavas. He described how we observe a half-day fast for immediate predecessors Acharyas. He wanted to know if we should also do the same for personalities like Srila Narottam Das Thakur and others like him. Prabhupada said, yes, if it is possible. But he added that if devotees are engaged in preaching work, they may not. He said that the main thing is to sing some songs of praise and perform kirtana. This is how they worshipped when Prabhupada was there. They have nothing else. Kirtan, kirtan, kirtan always. And little prasadam. Yeah. Tamal Krishna Maharaj actually asked, Prabhupada actually elsewhere mentioned that Lord Ramchandra and Nrsimhadev are full incarnations. Because of that we actually do full day fasting. Whereas all the others are all not full. Even Balramji actually is not full manifestation of his power. Tamal Krishna Maharaj actually asked about chanting on Ekadashis. We should always chant 25 rounds on Ekadashi if initiated. Prabhupada said, initiated? Everyone, why initiated? So that should be standard for our movement on Ekadashi day. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, no, 16 rounds is standard. If you want, can chant more, please chant. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Jayapataka Maharaj would actually tell Prabhupada different ways. He said, is 25 rounds on Ekadashi mandatory or not? Because the devotees thought that chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare on Ekadashi should be more. And they made 25 rounds. Right? So I don't know how they got that number, 25. Prabhupada said, no, there is no standard as such. And Jayapataka Maharaj said, it's recommended. Prabhupada said, no, Ekadashi means fasting and chanting. But he didn't give a number. Tamal Krishna Maharaj referred to this devotees going on book distribution. Prabhupada said, if they are preaching, that takes precedence. Yeah? Then you don't have to do extra rounds. Because preaching is something very dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Prabhupada would actually say, if they are doing that, then you don't have to chant extra rounds. But if they are simply sitting quietly, let them chant. But he wanted them to go and preach. That was his message. Yeah? So, Prabhupada would actually give the test of bhakti is very simple. Prabhupada would actually see, how much are you afraid of Maya Devi? When you are in the material world, are you feeling comfortable or afraid? Prabhupada would ask. If you are afraid, that means you have made progress. Look at the yardstick of measurement. Many times when you are outside, we feel comfortable, normal only, right? Prabhupada says you should be scared. You don't know when Maya Devi can attack you and then change your consciousness. How can someone live like this? It's very difficult. But Prabhupada would say, quote from Prahlad Maharaj and say that Prahlad Maharaj says that this fearful attitude of your lordship, Nrsimhadev's form, is not fearful to me. Actually speaking, if you go and stand in front of Nrsimhadev early morning, no one is around. Okay? Stand and see. Heart will throb. If you see his face, very powerful personality he is, you'll feel a little scared. Unless you actually have affection for the Lord. Especially the non-devotees can't stay in front of the Lord. They find it very difficult. Prabhupada says, he quoted from that, and this material world will not be tasteful for them. Jagai and Madai were too much materialistic, women hunters, drunkards, meat eaters. This is all going on in the morning walk. They are discussing in the morning walk. Prabhupada is telling them, this is how you have to see the world. Don't just simply sit and chant Hare Krishna, but not learn all these things. Because you will think that chanting of Hare Krishna is another ritual. Prabhupada would actually train them in the right consciousness to worship the Lord. And says that if you actually feel very comfortable with devotees and always scared when you go out, you are in the right consciousness. But many times we are scared with the devotees, whether we'll commit Vaishnava aparadh, and outside we don't care a damn. Anybody come, we'll go look around here and there, who is coming, who is going, and all this stuff. But Prabhupada sees the way of yardstick of measuring. Very, paradigm different way of thinking. You would say if you are scared of the material world, you are qualified to go back to Godhead. Because at least you will not remember this material world anywhere. Otherwise somebody can come and give you chants like, we have been reading Bhagavatam, this Bhakti Vaibhav, Plakshadeva, Karonchadeepa, all very powerful personalities, very beautiful damsels are there and things like that. And if presented, you'll say, okay, we'll go and see what is there, no? Somebody was telling, can you do a yatra? Vijay Prabhu was telling, can you do a yatra to other dvipas? You can go, you can't come. Anyways, Jayapatama tells Prabhupada that it's easier to preach to devotees in Bengal than other places in India. Why is it like this? Prabhupada said it's Lord Chaitanya's blessings to them. That is why actually Prabhupada would actually see this, that whatever Bengal does today, the rest of the world does tomorrow. And Prabhupada gave so many different examples about that, how everything started there and things like that. During this, a very, very funny incident happened. Right? You all heard about this yogi, bhogi, rogi. Right? Yogi means someone who will pass stool once a day. This is how they brought in. Someone they heard from an Ayurvedic doctor, so they brought in a morning walk. Prabhupada, is it true? Yogi means they will pass stool once. Bhogi means two. Rogi means multiple times. Okay? That means your system is not okay. Prabhupada actually started smiling. And Prabhupada said, yes, yogi passes stool once a day, bhogi twice and rogi more. And Prabhupada looked at them and said, who told you this? Said one Ayurvedic doctor. Acha? And Jayapada Maharaj actually laughed. Mayapur story this is. He said, I have seen some of the devotees holding their stool and urine till the next day. Because if you pass more than once, you are not a yogi. They wanted to be yogi. And Prabhupada would laugh like anything. And then say, it would give stomachache for them, but still they would not. They'll say, I am a yogi. So, and again, so if you go for stool, you have to take a bath. Right? They wanted to avoid, it's cold. Right? So they would actually hold back and say, Prabhupada's laughing like, what kind of foolish people they are. And Prabhupada gave a very amusing story. He says, Makshi Manda Kanani. Okay? In Bengali, he uses a lot of Bengali proverbs in that. He said, one clerk would in those days actually we didn't have Xerox machines. Someone had to copy it. So one clerk was actually copying one book to another book. It's called fair copy. Okay? And this fellow was writing, and suddenly at one point in time he actually looked around and there were a lot of flies and he was trying to capture one fly. So the owner asked him, what are you trying to do? He said, see, actually in the original book I see a fly pasted. See, because what would have happened is, probably flies were there, they would have closed like this, it is pasted there, it's dead. So because it's there in the fair copy, in the main copy, the one which you copy should also have a fly. That's what he was thinking. Right? He said, don't do this. Prabhupada said, don't take anything literally. Understand why it is done and follow it. If somebody tells that if you pass stool once, you are a yogi, it's craziness. It's just foolishness. So you can see how Prabhupada would actually correct them. How much time we have? Oh, it's already time. Okay, one more I'll do. After that, we can take some questions. There are so much because those days, you all know Prabhupada actually gave one person Babaji initiation. You know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a Babaji, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj. Bhaktivinoda Thakur never had any Babaji disciples. Prabhupada had one disciple. Okay, he gave him Babaji initiation, meaning he gave Babaji initiation, but that person looped, he left the moment. Prabhupada said it's not practical in this world. Babaji means you just keep chanting all the time. Right? This devotee would actually chant 200 rounds a day, non-stop. He would sit on a tree in Mayapur somewhere, because he found that everybody is disturbing him. They're coming in saying you are a great devotee and things like that. So Prabhupada said it's another monkey. Marketa Vairagya, he would say that it's not possible. So this is a very important thing. See, in this, one of the Maharajs, those days, Chavan Maharaj, he was in Vrindavan temple. He left the Vrindavan temple and he started residing in Radhakund. Okay? Because we know in the lecture of instruction, it's also mentioned what is the topmost place to live? Radhakund. But then Prabhupada would say, if you are not qualified, you won't live there, you're living in Narakakund. Yeah, it's not Radhakund for you. Because again, as I said, Prabhupada would say, the environment that you are living in is a function of consciousness. not the place. You may be in Vrindavan temple or you may be in front of your Guru Maharaj, but if your conscience is materialistic, you are in a material world. But if your conscience is spiritual, then that is Goloka Vrindavan. So that is actually the explanation Prabhupada gave. So this devotee went to Radhakund, associated with the Babajis and started smoking bidis, and he could not control his senses. Finally, because of immigration problems, he was arrested. Okay, so arrested by the police, deported, and after that, after a few years, he came back again. This is a 1976 story, right? So it happened 72, 73, so 76 he comes back, and during massage time, he came to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, so many things happened, and I am troubled so much, and I should be punished more because I committed so many sins. So he was repenting, basically. And because if I am not punished, I will have to suffer more in the future lives. So good that I am punished like this, but I want your blessings. And Prabhupada said, okay, don't worry, continue to do some service. He would never reject anybody. If you actually are willing to serve Krishna, even though you make mistakes, he would come. Prabhupada told that for a devotee, this is a very important thing for all of us. For a devotee, if there is an accidental fall down, Krishna will excuse. That means nothing will happen to you. You will continue Krishna consciousness. But if the devotee persistently sins, you break regulative principles again and again, but you don't leave the moment, because a situation will come, situation will be created for you to leave the moment. But don't leave the moment. Stay at the Lotus feet of Prabhupada because of your past unconditioned, uncontrolled senses. You're breaking the principle again and again, but you are pleading Prabhupada. Krishna says Krishna will allow some punishment for his correction. So Prabhupada would actually pardon such people, even though they were actually... Prabhupada did not want anybody to leave ISKCON. He wanted them to stay within ISKCON, even though you make mistakes, stay in ISKCON, but get corrected. And I've seen, after reading so many books of Prabhupada, Prabhupada is like the principal of the college that he's created. All our Guru Maharaj are deans, professors, HODs of different departments, preaching department HOD, DT worship department HOD, like that. Prabhupada is the principal. So in a college, in a class, what is expected from the students? Ideally speaking, the teachers want everybody to pass. Right? They don't want any irritating, mischievous students and all who keep having backlogs. Right? But if you actually are of the kind that you are sincerely dull, sincerely you are dull, you don't have a brain, because body is there, brain is removed, nothing is there. So no matter whatever the teacher trains, they don't understand, say. But that person is sincere, comes and sits for the class, everything. What will the teacher feel? Compassionate? Arey yaar, what to do with them? So they will pray to the, somehow do something, get this fellow passed. Otherwise I have to live with this fellow again and again. There is no way this fellow will pass. But what is one quality they are looking for? Sincerity or loyalty. Stay in ISKCON. Serve Prabhupada in whatever we can, positively, in a very positive manner. Then the Acharyas will take care. We don't have to actually worry about so many things. Oh, when will I come to this Prayojana state? When will I get the love of God? Don't worry about all those things. This is Acharyas, they will take care. They know how to. We simply have to be at the Lotus feet of Prabhupada and don't leave ISKCON at any point in time. But situations will come, you will be removed out of association. That's the way Maya Devi will test you. If your ego overtakes you, that why should I actually stay in such a devotee where they don't respect me anywhere? Then Maya Devi is successful. Prabhupada can't do anything. Prabhupada said, please stay, don't leave. If somebody is making mistakes, stay, you correct situation, but don't leave. But situation will come. I've seen many instances, many situations wherein because of management or because of our devotees, our own anarthas, we are put into a condition wherein we find it very difficult to stay. Right? Prabhupada, actually some sannyasis would leave. Prabhupada said, don't worry, get married. It's a very fallen situation. Sannyasi getting married is actually a demotion. Brahmachari to Grihastha is positive, but ulta is actually not a nice thing. But Prabhupada would actually say it's okay. Serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya. And he would actually accept them so much. He would not. And he would tell everybody, please don't criticize that person. Because if you criticize, his ego will get hurt, he will leave and go. Although you made a mistake, it's a mistake, but don't point out that mistake. Look at Prabhupada's compassion, right? There is absolutely very difficult actually glorify Prabhupada. In the sense that so much of nectar is there that Prabhupada did something. He created everything for us. He created, in fact, we all sitting here, it's all because of His mercy only. Because He's telling Paramatma, you don't have any other engagement today, please allow them to hear Bhagavatam. Really, that's a fact. See, we are thinking we are doing all this with our free will. No. This personality is doing everything for us. Through the spiritual masters, the parampara, they are actually praying to Krishna, please let them do what I am asking them to do. And because he tells, he requests, so how much grateful we should be, how much actually indebted we should be. And we should actually, there is no way we cannot cry in front of Prabhupada because he's given us so much. So if you cultivate that attitude that Prabhupada, because of you, because of spiritual masters, I am like this, there is no way you will fall down. The moment actually you become a little independent, saying that I also know a lot of shastras, I've learnt everything, this is how it has to be done, this is how it has to be done. Fine, that's also coming from them only. Right? Without them, not possible. But we become sometimes proud because everybody tells you that you have done it, you have done it. Unless until you pass it on to the parampara, all glories to Srila Prabhupada we say, right? What glory is left then? Nothing ideally. Then where is the question of getting pride? We should not. So we should actually think about it. I'll stop here and take some questions. 10 minutes. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Because what Prabhupada has given is not for one class of people. The totally dumb, hooligan, rowdy crowd, or the exceptionally brilliant, shastric, sattvic, and top of the class. He gave the books for the classes and the masses, both. Mass preaching is chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. For the classes, Srimad Bhagvatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the ABCD books, all of them, right? All are there with us. It's just that if you want to be a class, read all these Prabhupada books. If you want to be the mass, just chant Hare Krishna. Yeah, you will still get the perfection. That's how he came. Anyways, I'll take some questions. There are many more fun because practically speaking, one time on a set of 150 Australian devotees came to Mayapur and they were so hungry, they took the fruits from whatever it's not offered, they ate. Tamal Krishna Maharaj went and told Prabhupada, these devotees actually are eating the food which is not an offer to the deities. And Prabhupada said that's okay. They can offer in the mind. This is not there in the books anywhere. This is actually, see, some of the devotees are trained by Srila Prabhupada personally. You will find them little different from those who actually have read Prabhupada books and perfected their lives. Because in Prabhupada books this is not there. Prabhupada said this. He wasn't disturbed, he replied, fruit may be offered within the mind, they can take it. See, there are many things like this which are there in Prabhupada books about Prabhupada, right? He knew what is the purpose and what their mindset is. And he was not saying that, okay, you fast, have headache, then come. No, eat if it's required. Because that's his mind. But he did mention offer in the mind. Like that. Okay, go ahead. Hare Krishna.
So I had a similar question on this thing. Like, sometimes it is there in the scripture, you have to follow it. Sometimes Prabhupada does like this. So how we should deal with any like circumstance?
Yes, see.
To actually follow the scripture, what it is saying, or practically like how Prabhupada did.
See, ideally speaking, this is the leeway that Prabhupada has given, right? But we should follow what is in the Shastras, ideally speaking. What is mentioned there, because for the long term, 10,000 years, Shastrik is meant. But somebody is following this, it's not wrong. You don't have to criticize them. Like why are you feeling it? Prabhupada has followed it, it's okay, you can follow it. But you have to see the time, place, circumstances and do it. Because Prabhupada would actually give extraordinary importance to preaching. If somebody was preaching, Prabhupada would say, let them take grain on Ekadashi. But I want preaching to go on. Because his Lord Chaitanya has pleasure. He wants us to go, Yagare Deko Thareko Krishna Upadesh. Because the whole world, if you see how many devotees are there, how many people know Lord Chaitanya? Not even less than 1% of the world population. They don't even know who he is, first of all. Prabhupada said that's more important because what is sin, what is not sin, who decides? Krishna only decides. If he wants, he can change. Even if you are eating grain, he can change the karma. He has all the power. He is supremely independent. But we should not imitate. Right? If Prabhupada is telling us to do, we should do that. If our Guru tells something to do, do that. Simple. Don't go and question that Prabhupada has not told this. Where are you doing this? No, they are actually empowered. They can do what is required. Right? Getting it? So in that sense, if somebody, see, we should follow what is in the Shastras. That's the right understanding. For the everybody. Right? Because otherwise then everybody will do whatever they want and there will be mess in the system. But if somebody is following it because they personally heard from Prabhupada, no, that's okay. Respect them. But you don't have to propagate that. Prabhupada has told we can take this on, I can take soda. There's past time I didn't touch all those things. There are Prabhupada would drink 7-Up and everybody started drinking 7-Up. But Prabhupada is taking 7-Up. No, he was having a digestion problem, so he took. Right? So anyways, a lot of things are there. We can discuss some other time. Especially Prabhupada appearance at times we should have a 2-3 hours. Only Prabhupada Katha. There is so much wonderful to get attached to Prabhupada. In fact, he told Tamakrishna Maharaj also, if they get attached to me, they will get delivered. Because the previous acharyas want, there's a pastime like that. Because Tamakrishna Maharaj was actually going through a hernia operation in Juhu, and he had a dream. In the dream, Prabhupada was actually reporting to all the previous acharyas. Like, if at all somebody knows philosophy, that's Tamal Krishna. If somebody knows these books what I have written, it's only Tamal Krishna, no one else knows. Prabhupada, is it true? We are reporting, he said, yes. I was talking to the previous acharyas. And what does it mean, Prabhupada? It just means that none of you are qualified, but I'm praying to the previous acharyas, please deliver all of them. And they also told, some more have only one thing, they should be attached to you, that's all. If they are attached to you, we will deliver them. Like that, there are so many hopeful messages that we have, because not all of us can follow what is there in Bhagavatam fully. As long as your karma is good, your mindset is good, very good association, very nice temple atmosphere, yes, you can follow. Someday karma will change, you will have to actually leave this place. If you have to, you will be forced. That time you will find it difficult to follow. But remember, Prabhupada is not going to leave you. He came to deliver us. That will give us hope. Yeah? Follow the Shastras. Yeah, that's what I would say. Follow the Shastras.
First preference is for scripture.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, some devotees want to go to Vrindavan often, and they want to settle there, Mayapur. And they also say Vrindavan is such a feeling. So, what should be our response to them?
See, first of all, if somebody has a desire to go to Vrindavan, it's not a wrong feeling. But we cannot discourage them also. But neither actually the Shastras recommend somebody to go to settle Vrindavan when you are premature. So we should first of all follow all the rules and regulations before advising others. If we are not actually chanting, we tell them, no, you should not go to Vrindavan. You are not able to go to Vrindavan, let them go. It's okay. But ideally speaking, Prabhupada would actually say Vrindavan is not for going and living. It's for an ancient kind of a life. It's only to see Krishna, only to meet Krishna. Not to go and see, can we have rabdi? That's not the mood. That's not for that. Because you get that herbal coffee there, no herbal tea and all you get outside the Krishna Balaram temple. That's not the mood to go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is only to go find where Krishna is. I want. So if you have come to that stage that you have nothing else in life, you don't want anything else, then you are ready to go there. It takes time. Even then, Prabhupada actually told, preach. If you come to that stage, you'll be very powerful. Whatever you say, people listen. So preach. Samadhi later. Prabhupada would not allow them. Only 3 days he would allow. He stayed in the last part of as an acharya to show others that it's nice to actually leave the body like this. But he didn't expect everybody to be like that. Mayapur is safer. Still, stay where you are. Be with the devotees. Do something for Prabhupada's mission. That is more better than going and saying that I will stay there peacefully and things like that. Because under Srimati Radharani allows, neither Vrindavan nor Mayapur you can stay. Not possible. Yeah? If you are going to advise to somebody else, make sure that you are better than them, sadhana wise, understanding wise. Don't go and tell somebody who is elevated, say, Prabhupada did not tell you to go there. That person may not tell you, is that you... Yeah, okay. Maybe one more question?
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
attached to coffee, tea.
Okay. How to come out of coffee, tea? Okay. Yeah, there are so many other things. Guru Maharaj actually told many devotees actually have this fear that if you leave coffee and tea, then you will get headache. That fear is there in many people because I've seen practically because it's a addiction basically. Like cigarette is addiction. If they don't smoke, it disturbs. And same coffee also same thing. So Guru Maharaj actually told them you can actually have herbal coffee, replace it with herbal coffee. I will tell my own story. Okay, I was not attached to coffee so much, but my dad was. So my brother Vishal Prabhu and myself, we thought what to do. So we decided we should somehow or other offer the milk to the Lord. Okay, and then give the coffee to him. So we would do that. We will actually offer the milk alone and then put the coffee powder, whatever it is, and then we used to actually give him. So he will take 6 months later, he lost taste. He said, "What are you guys feeding me that I don't have any interest in that? It tastes like mud. Like no taste at all this tea. We used to put sugar, but still you will not feel it. But we used to pray to Krishna, saying that this one attachment, if we remove from him, he'll make progress. So none of us, we all stopped. So he was the only one who was still drinking. And for him, he had to cook or make. So slowly everything went out. So like that, he had to pray to the Lord. See, any other senses uncontrolled, he is the owner, he is the Rishikesha, he is the owner of the senses. So sincerely, you have to plead. Not that, oh my Lord, coffee taste is not going and keep drinking. No. Cry in front of the Lord. It's not like, okay, what can I do? Because girls come, I get attracted. And then coffee I see, and then you go and see onion garlic. And like, no, that's not the night. You have to beg the Lord. I'm very fallen, I have to come back, I have to leave this, but I'm not able to leave this. So if you beg in that mindset and cry in front of the Lord will show compassion. Yeah? Because this one small thing, in fact, Shyam Sundar Prabhu was carving the deities of Jagannath Baladev Subramanya, and Balram said he kept a cigarette pack. Those days, first carving, right? Prabhupada saw this and then he did not complain because they are doing service to the deities, right? So Prabhupada only told one thing. He said, one small thing is actually separating him from Krishna. Right? Then later when he heard this from some other devotees, he stopped smoking. He would not tell them you stop. He would just pass something because they were not ready to hear. And if they don't follow, it becomes an offense. Disobeying the orders of the spiritual master. Like that. Yeah, Prabhupada was very, very careful. What a personality he is. So much tolerance. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah, that helps you. So pray to Krishna and sincerely have faith. Even if I get headache, I'm going to stop it. Let me see what happens. Is the coffee powerful or I am powerful? Take a challenge. And in fact, one devotee offering to Prabhupada mentions, Prabhupada, I feel all the devotees should feel that you are challenging us. You told me I am a very great devotee, right? So I gave you initiation. Now I challenge you. See if you can control your senses. 4 regulative principles you follow for whole life. It's a challenge from Prabhupada to all of us. Can we succeed? It's a question. If you show that I can follow it, then it's a great thing. Like that. Yeah? Maybe one last question. Anybody? You want? Okay. Yes? You can ask. I'll repeat if it's required.
Roji, my question is, as you said that whatever your consciousness is there, according to that...
the environment.
Yeah, the environment.
Yes.
So, my question is that sometimes what happens when it happens and we find fault with the environment.
Yes.
That someday I feel Prabhupada said this temple is Vaikuntha, but I don't feel it, so
correct.
It is not Vaikuntha.
Yes, because your consciousness is actually low.
Yes.
Correct? You put in equation format, the environment depends on your consciousness. Function of consciousness, not just consciousness. It's a function, it's a complicated function.
But sometimes when pure devotees comes or when Prabhupada disciples comes or when actually I go to Vrindavan or some other place and their devotees are other different feeling, then we feel okay, yeah, this is like good. So sometimes we feel better.
Yes.
But then again, sometime later, again it degrades and again we feel, no, it's fine only. So what is happening actually is, some other place you go, then it changes, and then sometimes it get degrades, and again like that, what is happening there?
Very simple. I'll give you a very crude example for this. Okay, you have seen iron nails, iron rods. If you take it closer to a magnetic field, they get magnetized. If you take them out of that field, for some time it will actually have that magnetism, unless that has become a magnet. If you take the iron rod and keep it in magnetic field for a long time, right, then it becomes magnetized. That's the example I can give for us. If a pure devotee of the Lord comes here, he is a powerful magnet. He has so much of Krishna consciousness, like if you go and stay with that person closely and associate, you get magnetized. Your consciousness will go very high. But if you stay with such a person and serve that person for a long time, you also will become like that. But if you come in between, before getting perfected, right, then your consciousness will go down. That means your magnetism will go down. Getting it? But next time you go, it will again increase. Getting it? If you go to Vrindavan, that's a high magnetic field because so many pure devotees are there. Those who can be seen by us, some of them cannot be seen. There are many devotees who are there, all in the different Radhakund and other places. There are many great saints sitting under the water and meditating. That is why Prabhupada said, be careful, don't go and swim there. You might offend some other Vaishnavas. Just take this, put it on your head and come with respect. So that magnetic field is so powerful of Krishna consciousness. When you go in, you actually get that feeling. It's very nice. When you come back here, again back to square one. But you can see in the morning Mangalarati time, and so many wonderful boys actually chanting, you feel that some energy is there. That's all it is. Anybody does sincerely chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, you get the magnetic field. Till the point the powerful magnet like Prabhupada or his disciples come. When they come, then you feel again energized. Yeah? Helps? Simple. Continue that till you become a magnet. Then you can deliver others. Hare Krishna, Prabhu is here. Jai. Okay, we'll stop here. Time for prasadam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.